A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of the second edition of Languages Week. Languages Week is the first e-conference in the country to explore the power of local languages in mass media and celebrate the beauty of India's diversity. Before we begin, I would like to thank our presenting partner, ABP News, and Part by Partner, Colors Bangla, for supporting us. Can we please have their AVs?
न पाबंदी हो न कोई हद हो तो बस खुद बनाई सरहद हो। ये मुहिम है परतों में छिपे हर सच की तलाश की, सियासत पर रखी पैनी नजर और आंख की, खबरों की दुनिया में एक जिम्मेदार आवाज की, जुर्म और जुल्म के खिलाफ हर बेबस के लिए इंसाफ की। जब कोई हद नहीं इंसानियत के लिए जज्बात की, जब कोई हद नहीं खुशियों और ख्वाब की, तब कोई हद क्यों हो नए नजरिए और बदलाव की। तोड़ के हदों के ताले नए सपनों को पाले, बांधे सबको एक धागे, आपको रखे आगे। एबीपी নিউজ।
30 আগস্ট থেকে বিনোদনের পারদ আরো চড়বে, কারণ টিভির পর্দায় বড় চমক দিতে নতুন স্বপ্নের রং নিয়ে আসছে কালার্স বাংলা।
আমি মীর সঙ্গীতের মহারথীদের নিয়ে আসছি সঙ্গীতের মহাযুদ্ধে।
এখানে পাবেন ড্রামা,
আপনারা যদি এই সমাজের মাথা হন, আমরা হলাম মাটি।
ইমোশন,
বাইরে থেকে নয় ভেতর থেকে যে খাঁটি সেই আসল সুন্দর।
স্নেহ,
শ্বশুর শাশুড়িকে দেখলে কি বাবা মাকে দেখা যায় না?
ভালোবাসা,
চিন্তা নেই, আমি এবারে বৌমা হলেও আমরা শুধুই বন্ধু।
সম্মান, উত্তেজনা, দিন বদলের স্বপ্ন।
হয় শ্বশুর বাড়ি নয় বাপের বাড়ি, মেয়েদের একটা নিজেদের বাড়ি থাকতে নেই।
চারটি ভিন্ন স্বাদের ধারাবাহিকের সাথে নতুন এক অন্য মানের নন ফিকশন। এমন বিনোদন আর পাবেন কোথায়? চোখ রাখুন কালার্স বাংলায় আর যে কোনো সময় বুটে।
Moving on to today's session, will the regional language boom on TV come at the cost of Hindi? On the panel, we have Ravish Kumar, Head Regional Entertainment, Kannada and Marathi Cluster at Viacom 18, Pratyusha Agarwal, Chief Consumer Officer, Z Entertainment Enterprises, Ajay Bhalwankar, Business Head at Sony Marathi, and Anand Bhatkamkar, Chief Executive Officer at Dentsu India. Welcome, everyone. Now introducing you to the moderator of the session, Ms. Vanita Kohli Khandekar, author and contributing editor at Business Standard. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, AFAX, and thank you, Shrikant, for asking me to do this. Over the years that I've been tracking the media and entertainment space, the growth of languages has been a constant. So there's nothing new in that. You know, the first Tamil channel in this country came in 1993. So it's always been there. But the pace of growth has changed in the last few years. So if you look at it from 2015 to 2020, the share of all languages across genres, etc., in total TV viewing has gone from 35 to 47%, 36 to 47%, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a huge jump. Hindi fell by about 2% during the same period, from 47 to 45%. So it's natural for people to draw all kinds of conclusions from that, but I'm not sure if that's the way the cookie crumbles. And that is why we have this great panel here to talk about it. And before I say, you know, when I mentioned that the growth of languages has been a given, it's a constant. I mean, Hindi is one of the languages, happens to be spoken by a lot more people than other languages. But if you look at the BARC data for the last at least 4 or 5 years, the most watched channel in this country across languages, across geographies, is Sun TV. It's a Tamil channel. So it is a thappa of how diverse we are, that a language that people in one state are supposedly speaking, the viewership is so high that it makes it to the number one this thing. And with that, I'll start. We have a great panel here. So we have Pratyusha from Z, Ravish from Viacom 18, Ajay from Dentsu, Ajay from Sony Marathi, and Anand from Dentsu. I'm going to start with Pratyusha. Because you have such a large variety of languages within the Zee bouquet, I always wonder, and you and I have had a conversation about how you guys are deep diving into dialects and, understanding the Bangla idiom or the Kannadiga idiom or the Malayalam or the Punjabi idiom. But really, there is a need to have more channels and a need to become more local or customize each one much better. How do you balance that need? Because the more volume you have, the better, hopefully, you negotiate for distribution, for advertising and other metrics. But how do you balance that with the need to deep dive? Because this exercise that you did, I don't know what the reaction was inside, but if you could take us through some of that, and how do you balance those two things?
Sure. I think fundamentally, like you started out, Vanita, we don't look at India as like one country. We look at it like a composition of countries. When you look at it like that, there's no thinking of it as saying, oh, how can I do only an X number of channels? Just to give you a context, an AP Telangana with its greater than 85 million people is larger than France, UK, Thailand as countries, right? So when you're looking at servicing people of sizes that are larger than countries, then you better tailor make and do everything that you can to service it like that. So I think that's where all our work and the thing that you were mentioning, right? The soul to screen work, we actually have the market team behave like a country team, go and figure the needs of those consumers. So it's not like okay, nationally these cohorts exist and how do I optimize? It is much like how any large organization entering into a country would do, saying, what are all the categories that are really viable, sizable, etc. And then what kind of offering will really work here in this particular market. So we'll start with like an anchor which meets the needs. And I think most places, these movies have been that. But I think then expanding the repertoire, like for example, we've launched a music channel in Marathi. I mean, Marathi has been there for a while. Now you've got a certain amount of consumption that's going, with us being like the #1 channel, capturing a certain amount of GST share. But if you need to grow it further and further, the widening the
it up into more genres.
Yeah, you'll do it more genres. So a Chitramandir, which is FTA movies, a Vazwa, which is music, and of course your core GC content, which has to keep getting better and better and better. And the more the content, I think that's the beauty that's happening in the Marathi market, right? There is a great amount of original content in the language, which grows. I think that's the way we don't see them as trade-offs. And this thing which you said on the contribution, obviously as something grows, something else's contribution reduces. But the great thing for us is the entire TV pie is growing. And I think that's where the Hindi is growing and the Hindi market consumption is growing, as is the regional or language market consumption. So that's where
it's interesting. I want to get Ravish in here, because what you're saying is fine, but what is it that changed in the last few years that you're doing so much of a deep dive? Because Ravish, if you remember, we spoke about this, I think sometime last year when you had a lot of launches, and you were also doing a similar, not exercise, but it was a similar sort of deep insight into consumers that were being used to create. But what changed in the last 4 or 5 years? Because Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, these were always large languages on television. What changed in the other markets? And I'd like to know and what does it mean internally within? What does it do to the internal politics within? I don't use the word politics in a bad sense, but to the internal balance of power within a broadcasting company, when you have a large chunk of growth coming from what was not seen as a big growth area. So there are 2 questions there, sorry.
Yeah, there are actually many questions. So let me start with the recency phenomenon of the last question.
Sorry.
So I think the way it affects the broadcasters, it's a more diversified portfolio, right? So one is you spread your growth and risk across many markets. The other is also, in today's day and age of democratization of content, you have content firing in multiple markets, which can easily work across other markets as well, which is what we are seeing across the board. Whether it is Zee, whether it is Star, whether it is us, Sony, it's the same ideas, and the ideas are brilliant. They are adapted beautifully But for most people, these are originals, right? They have never seen them before. So I think a couple of things changed. One is, I think everyone, as Pratyusha said, wanted to go wider and deeper. Secondly, we all had assets that we wanted to sweat. Typically, all of us were sitting on movie libraries, which were sort of largely going unaided. And there was a tremendous appetite for, movies round the clock there. So it was very easy to put together a movie and sort of take them as extensions of what we were already doing. Thirdly, there was a lot of advertiser appetite as well, right? So Anand will bear me out, a lot of the FMCG clients go deeper, they go wider. The first wave you saw was actually ads started to get regional, they started to get local. So it was but logical that programming also start to go that way, right? So the money was there, the consumer sort of need was always there. Broadcasters also wanted to diversify their portfolios. You bring them all together, that really sparked off the massive sort of boom in regional in the last decade or so, yeah. And Sun has been a pioneer in the 4 South market. Zee has been a pioneer across the board in all the other markets. Star was a late entrant, but through acquisitions and through organics, it has caught up very strongly.
Correct.
We still continue to play catch up, and I'm only relieved by the fact that Ajay is also there with me. Yeah, so we both still have a ways to go. Yeah.
I'm much late. Ajay, I'm going to come to you, and Anand, I'm going to come to you. First, I want you to address this whole thing of is there any sense of as Hindi में बोलते हैं ना ईर्ष्या होती है कि क्या अरे इधर इतना growth हो रहा है और हमारा कम हो गया ऐसे अंदर how do you guys sort of balance that, who gets the meaty portfolios, etc. Is there any issues around that?
No, I think to put it very frankly, I think every broadcaster is very happy to have a spread in a spread of ideas across channels, which could work, in a portfolio.
Correct.
And it every channel requires the same amount of effort. It doesn't matter whether you're a laggard channel or a lead channel or a small language channel or a big language channel. You will wind up doing at least 3 to 4 hours of original programming. As Pratyusha said, as a GC, you need to have a full slate. You have your fiction, you'll have your non-fiction, you'll have your movies, you'll have your events. So your cost structure is roughly finite. Okay, all it will do is, I won't even say it's a variable cost structure. It is a semi-fixed cost structure. More
it
fixed
in media, it is, yeah.
Yeah, more fixed than semi, but your ratings actually. Yeah,
talk to a print person, they will tell you it's all fixed.
When TV came, everyone said print is dead, but print is still around, right?
No,
now that OTT is here, everyone is saying TV is dead, but we are going to be around for years and years. Yeah. So I think that's where we are. It's not a question of big or small or focus area or non-focus area. If anything, it tends to be sort of how big that portfolio or that channel accounts for in your portfolio. And obviously, sort of, the bigger you are, the more attention you will get, right? From a sheer perspective of in monies.
Ajay, you guys have a very good, happy Hindi business. I mean, that's and sports and movies. And I know that I've had various conversations with NT on, you tried a Bangla channel, you've tried various things. So what is this focus with Marathi now and why now? I mean, and that question had come up, but why now?
So like Ravish mentioned, we are a bit late in the game, Marathi genre has been there for last 22 years now.
Absolutely.
And it's important for any network to have a language presence, because it just creates those bonds much deeper than what and I always believe that this national and regional terms that we end up using always, they are legacy of Doordarshan. Doordarshan had national beam and regional beam. It was more to do with technology. It was not about language. When they had terrestrial network, which used to go national and regional. I think, as Pratyusha also mentioned, that we are many countries within a country. So for us, it is critical, and Maharashtra has been a very strong, a market for Sony per se. If you look at all our Hindi channels also, they have a very strong presence, whether it is Max, SET or Sub. We are very strong in western part of the country. So for us, it was important to bridge those or build those bonds even further. And that's why as a Marathi channel, in language, in the mother tongue, it does that. It has a very different audiences and also with the advertisers. So that was the very reason why we thought of entering into regional channels with Marathi as an offer, because A, we have a strong presence, we need to build on it and also protect it. And as a regional channel, we end up doing that, is what I feel. We end up building those bonds deeper.
Isn't Marathi a mature genre to enter into at this stage from a portfolio perspective? Would a Odia or some other language have? I'm just curious. I mean,
see, if you look at the entire, Maharashtra has been one of the most, what do I say, most penetrated market in terms of cable and satellite.
Cable and Maharashtra and Andhra.
That's one thing. In terms of, yeah, and also in terms of pure numbers, if you look at Maharashtra will have more number of cable and satellite than any other state. The other thing is also it's been a very advertiser friendly. The per capita income of Maharashtra is much higher. So compared to other, sorry, my comment went on to. So if you look at that as well, in terms of overall advertiser focus, also Maharashtra, the western part of the country, has been a focal point. So both from ad revenue point of view or subscription point of view, this is a very potential market, and that's something that we couldn't have ignored. Whereas if you enter in a smaller play, I think it takes a
fair enough.
much difficult for business case to develop.
Now, which is where I want Anand to come in. Anand, how do advertisers and buyers account for the overlap? So, for example, for years, Marathi had trouble taking off because there was an overlap with Hindi. When they started doing really original stuff, which looked into Marathi literature, etc., is when Zee Marathi succeeded. It did this thing. Or if you look at many of the other languages, Gujarati, I know in the 90s, everybody tried it. Now again, Punjabi, Pratyusha and I have discussed this. Punjabi again was tried in the 90s, and so many language puri overlap. So A, there's an overlap, and B, there's always this rate differential, whether it's regional print or whether it's television. I mean, where are advertisers on those two issues right now? And how do you look at this new, I know what I call this is a renaissance in language television, because the amount of original content, we're talking about 12 to 13 hours a week. Would that be right? Ravish, Pratyusha?
No, way more than 30.
Much more than.
More than 30.
Yeah. So
more than 30.
More than 30. Okay. So Anand, how do advertisers view this? How do you view the whole thing?
So I think what's changed over the years, definitely from as compared to prior to now, is the content actually is the major differentiator, right? Because at that point of time, even if advertisers were thinking of going regional or using regional, there wasn't much content where my consumer would be, right? Ultimately, advertisers would be where you get reach frequency. I think that's what ultimately comes into from putting your advertising dollar. So as the things have evolved over the years, and with we were discussing earlier as well, right, the digital first approach, or where we are finding that content getting in the strong content pipeline actually being there for the channels. I think that longevity, I think that's making a big difference, that advertisers also know that something like Zee or Colors or Sun TV, actually for that matter, or for Sony, it's going to be there as you start sort of investing into those properties or investing into those channels and into the regional content, because that's something which is going in, and the consumer is going to be there. And with digital sort of connect or digital being on the back of it, the amplification is much, much better now. Over the last 3-4 years, that has started amplifying quite a lot and in in a much better manner. So the content which you see across, I think that's where then the Hindi, which used to be just the core, or you'll start building the plans around that and into others. Now you're segmenting your consumers, you're segmenting your audience also in a much better manner. And when you're targeting, I think that gets much sophisticated and in a much proper manner. And that's where this focus is shifting now, and regional is playing that larger role. So now,
but like for like, is there a difference in the rates that you would take for the same brand, for the same objective? So and the same audience size, would Hindi and Tamil or with Hindi and
Marathi? That still continues, that you'll find regional to be more effective actually. That's going to, because Hindi in a way at one go the reach does turn out to be much larger or better. There's more focused or much more sort of
Impact?
segmented, right?
Oh,
So,
okay.
So that difference does come in.
Mhm.
When you're saying a large format, then Hindi obviously will be there, but regional becomes a core component. Still, it has not shifted into regional being the lead and then everything flowing through. But I think that it's sort of moving in that direction.
But you brought this very good point, Anand, because you brought this to a point that I've been wanting to raise. And before I get into that, I'd like the viewers, audience to please post your questions from now on, because we have another 20-25 minutes to go, and I'd like to take questions from here on. I've lost that question now. I'll get it. But when you talk about, is the competition with Hindi, when you look at it as an advertiser, and when you're checking it out, whatever the brand objectives, market, given the variables that your company has, is a competition with Hindi or is a competition with regional print? I'm very curious. I thought it would be more with regional print than, and this is not a print person speaking, I'm just asking, because I think that's where it come from.
No, again, it's dependent on the outcomes, right? Or what are the outcomes that you're looking at, and ultimately the message that you're trying to get across to the audience where it's sitting in. So I won't call out TV, print. I'm not getting into that actually.
Could you share an example then? No, don't. You don't have to.
So it's not getting into that. So yeah, the point is actually it doesn't necessarily get into the regional print for that matter. Because what you are trying to get as an outcome or sort of the objectives which are sitting there, it works more on how you are reaching out as broadcast to the audiences. And TV plays in a different way or a different genre for that matter. So I won't say it directly is moving away from print into TV. TV sits as the core, and then you're identifying the audiences which you're trying to address over there. So I won't play that as within regional, it's print versus TV or something. It's going to be TV.
But it's primarily TV. Would it be more for consumer products? Of course, it would change from category to category.
That's right.
Okay, one question I want to throw at all of you, and how hard is the whole metrics thing? Is that one thing which has changed in the last 5 years? For example, because of BARC now, there's let's say better measurement in Bhojpuri or better measurement with, I don't know which markets there's better measurement in. How is the metrics seen, and how robust is the production ecosystem? Because this is a conversation I've had with Ravish and Pratyusha both. Where are we on is there enough content, this thing in the content ecosystem to produce that many hours of original programming to run a full-length channel in some of the languages that we're talking about? And Pratyusha, you want to take this first?
Yeah, sure. I think we chatted about it in the context when we were launching Punjabi, and we doing that again for Bhojpuri. I think the onus is on somewhere the market shaper orgs, right, to create that content ecosystem. I think it's like Maharashtra, because there was already a content ecosystem, it was a lot easier.
Correct.
It not to take away anything from the task, but in the case of Punjabi or Bhojpuri, yes, it doesn't come with the standard, I have a ecosystem that I can dip into. It takes an amount of time to build that ecosystem, starting from, there is an amount of talent available owing to I think the adjacent category is movies and music. And if there is reasonable amount of adjacent category that's there, to depend some of it, but nothing is as intense as a everyday TV production, right? So we did have that journey on Punjab and setting up those processes, setting up that base ecosystem in Punjab, and we are repeating the model right now in Bhojpuri. So you're right, it's not, and I think that was one of the thing which you asked, right? What happened in the last 4-5 years?
5 years, exactly.
2-3 different things are at play, and I'll talk about it from infrastructurally, the electricity access and the access to cable through free-to-air and all that expansion that's happened, right? Suddenly made the access available in the HSM markets. It was never a problem in the South, which is why South was 98% penetration, 4 hours consumption. But a lot of these HSM markets, starting from a Punjabi, which is like 80% above penetration, but still not great consumption because there's no original language content, to a Bihar where it's below 30% kind of penetration levels. Right? So the headroom from the consumer side open.
Correct.
And I think with the technology and ability to, transfer, like how Ravish was saying, we want to sweat our assets more. We're able to kind of I'm making it very simplistic, but you have platforms to now share content, get people quickly on board, say, okay, I want to launch this format here. You're able to fast, like speed in that process a lot. And I think lastly, all of us as broadcasters have matured to the idea of traveling content. And it's not just, it gets developed in that particular state. You've not, 3-4 years back, you wouldn't have heard of the serial that worked very well in Bangla being made in Tamil Nadu, or not like, okay, ye culture mein yahi chalta hai, but no travel. I think we've been able to seamlessly get this content to travel. So the creator ecosystem, the consumer ecosystem, and the tech ecosystem, all three are kind of helping this growth. Not easy, but I think helping.
Okay, great. Ajay, Ravish, you want to add something there?
See what I've seen, on regional, the broadcasters actually have helped create that ecosystem in, various markets.
True.
So if you look at typically, 2005 onwards, you've seen a resurgence of Marathi cinema happening, and a lot of credit that can go to Marathi television, Marathi broadcaster, which kind of put in a lot of consistent money into the market,
It is
so that
Marathi.
money inflow. Yeah.
It is
The first creator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill Dhadak's first for creator ecosystem. So every market, I think, like Ajay,
sorry,
Yeah,
Ajay.
so that's what I meant. It's when television typically, if you look at the business model of television, it's very creator friendly in a way, because the risk is not there. Okay, risk has been borne by the broadcaster. Of losses. So that kind of brings in some amount of stability into creators.
Okay.
Therein, so from the business point of view, from the point of view of production, it creates a good, healthy environment and constant flow of funds for many of the producers. So you'll find in regional market, a lot of television producers are also film producers. So that's been a great contribution by broadcasters.
Ravish?
Yeah, I think it depends market to market. So markets which were obviously more evolved, as Pratyusha said, which had adjacencies like theater or music, were sort of, or films were easily leapfrogged into TV. So it's a function of the number of broadcasters in that market, right? So in many cases, the reason why regional has grown is just because with 1 or 2 players, that critical mass was never there. So 1 or 2 players became 4 or 5. You had a whole bunch of new producers. You had people who wanted to sort of write content. So people came out, so the market structure got evolved. I still remember the first time when we took regional, at the time it was 1/3 of my budget. Yeah. So 1/3 of a budget for a channel is a pretty big bet to place for a 14-week show, right? And that time we were doing it in Kannada. We had to shoot it in Mumbai because the infrastructure in Kannada did not exist. It was a pitch battle we had next year. To actually move the set out of Bombay and move it into Bangalore. Today you have regional variants, every variant being shot either in the market or in the adjacent market, but none of them are there. Other than Marathi. So that's a typical example of the ecosystem evolving. It wasn't just sort of,
one thing happened.
The writers, you had to up the scale of production in many different ways. You had to get DOPs, you had to get sort of people who had to show them how to build sets, how to light sets, which is why, your regional production today is, I would say, at par what Hindi is. And that again is another reason why people have gravitated to it. Your scale is the same, and your look and feel is the same. Why would you not want to consume content in your preferred language? Because and which hits the right emotional chord with you.
Correct. I'm being inundated with questions here on the tab. I don't know if you can see them. Anand, this one is for you. I would prefer if people don't put anonymous attendee, if they can put their name and designation, be nice. When it comes to advertiser interest in regional content on TV, are there any language specific trends? For example, FinTech favors Tamil, FMCG favors Punjabi content. Anand?
Again,
interesting question.
Yeah, it's not based on category, but what sort of consumer are you trying to target, or what sort of consumer you are wanting to reach out to, right? And it's based on how the channel is performing. It's purely sort of outcome driven, I would say, in that sense. It's not something specific that a particular channel or a particular sort of category is going to target. I just want to target Punjabi. It might be that the product might be, if it's a fintech and they're focusing on Punjab or they're focusing on that particular region, then they would see a target over there. So it's based on how is the outcome needed. It's not that category driven in that sense, actually.
Another interesting question from someone, Adhishri Murdia. She, I'm assuming it's a she, asks, how does one decide on which content or show of a particular market can be taken to another market in another language? You know, and this, I think this is a creative call, but I'm also curious about the answers. So.
I think we've all struggled with the answer to this, you know. I think the typical rule of thumb is if it works extraordinarily well in one market, you see if it can be adapted easily in another market. Yeah. The adaptation has to be minimal again to preserve the essence of the show without making too many changes to it. And that's what typically works. You know, initially we had sort of equal amounts of successes and failures. Success has far outstrips any failures, partly because we've gone with more of the proven hitters rather than that were sort of, you know, on the fringes.
Okay. Ajay or Pratisha, you guys want to tackle any this on what works? How do you choose which show will work in some other language?
So, I actually see it as a necessity as mother of invention. You know, success rates are terrible in the case of TV, right? Given there are X amount of it. And what happens when you see a success in another market, you decode what about it is working at a core. You feel like that value, which is at the core and can be taken to another market. We usually do obviously there's a mathematical analysis to say what makes the cut. In fact, we did do a modeling on percentage success of new launches versus percentage success of existing shows redone in different markets by different broadcasters. And you see unequivocally that the probability of success is higher when you're taking it. But like Ravish said, I think the big watch out that we definitely at Zee make is saying, while it's a universal trope, is the cultural context true? And it's something that this brand of the channel is good to tell, because consumers at the end of the day are expecting a certain kind of content from a certain destination. And would that fit is a thing that we always look out for.
Okay. There's a question on distribution from Anirban of AFAX, and I had in fact a question on distribution, but let's go with this one. During NTO2, will it be possible for networks to secure distribution without a significant portfolio of regional channels? Will they also, will distribution revenue surpass ad dollars, he says, but it means rupees, I suppose, in regional TV in the new regime? Now, NTO2, I know, is still in a state of flux. It's not this thing, but do you see that impacting both your ability to reach and the revenues that you get?
I think the answer largely depends on the kind of bouquet you have and the number of leader channels you have. Like, you know, and Anand will resonate with this, like every successful FMCG portfolio, if you have one brand that really works, there are a couple of others that can ride the coattails. Today's day and age, consumers are very, very price sensitive. They're also very between them and the sort of, you know, distribution provider, they have the ability to sort of, you know, pick and choose what they want. Broadcasters do make their bouquets. At the end of the day, so does the provider, and so does the viewer. Yeah, so which makes it really difficult. So to answer your question, I think the more robust and the stronger portfolio you have, the likely you are to be included in that consideration list, the choice list, and finally in the paid for list. Yeah, so more is better, and bigger is better.
Is that driving some of this expansion, or is it driven from the consumer end? Therefore, you know, when I said what has changed, is that need to have distribution heft driving some of this expansion? Possibly, but the distribution heft is only a recent phenomenon, right? Correct. If you look at how recent channels have grown, they've grown constantly. Whether it depends on wherever you use your starting point, whether 17, whether it's 18, 19, wherever your starting benchmark is, the question is you've grown exponentially in quite a few markets. So you're already big, you continue to grow even further. So yes, distribution is a factor which is coming to our minds of late, but it isn't the sole factor which is driving this. There's a very cute question saying why
eventually
sorry Ajay.
Eventually it's going to be demand from audiences, you know. So even for NTO2, it's going to be what people are making choices at home, you know. Therefore, this is the, it's not going to be just because you are going to give. So that's the entire principle of NTO, right? So you should be able to choose your own channel. So the more impactful the channel, the demand is going to be there. Demand is there. There'll be more and more channels coming into that particular genre. Is what I would feel. So it's not to do with demand, I would say. If it is compelling, then only you're going to be sold. Otherwise.
There's a cute little question saying why nobody's interested in creating Chhattisgarhi satellite television, or any answers to that? Because this panel is clearly dominated by the Marathi speaking people, so we should address this.
Maybe I want to take a shot at that. I think in due course is what I would say, because if a couple of years back, if I said Bhojpuri channel, people would have said, is there market there? And I think some of these, I won't call them experiments, but very concerted efforts that Zee is doing. I think let's grow the language consumption market, and there's huge potential there. So why not Chhattisgarh? Never say never. I think it's about getting the three in the equation, right? Like the consumer access is there, the content creator ecosystem is set up, and there's enough competition to get investment there. I think why not Chhattisgarh?
Correct. Rahul Bhatia asks a question saying, apart from the 4 South Indian languages and Bengali, Marathi, and Bhojpuri, which are the new languages in TV/OTT space to look out for in the next few years? And this is something, while I'll ask the broadcasters, I want Anand also to step in this, that are there languages on your radar where you feel that your consumers for the portfolio brands or companies that you handle, that more consumers, they're getting more sales or traction in those areas, and those are languages where you'd like to see more channels come up? So I'd like all 4 of you to address this question. Who's taking it first? Pratyusha, Ajay? Hello?
Yeah, I don't know about more channels. Every market, to the best of my knowledge, has a fairly robust number of regional channels already in there. And when you start adding the number of GCs, the number of movie channels, kids channels, music channels, you have typically anywhere from 20 to 30 channels in every market.
Correct.
Yeah? So I really don't know which other languages to go after, So the other way to look at it, well, the other way to look at it is you cut it differently, right? So rather than taking geography and language, maybe you start thinking differently. Marwari is a community and it's spread all over India. Maybe there's a channel that caters to them. You talked earlier about fintech and sort of FMCG. Why not look at it from the viewer, right? Who is
from the consumer cluster point of view?
Yeah, and work backward from there, right? So maybe you launch a channel targeting fintech. I don't know, but they are all, we have to get out of this sort of, geo-demographic thought of segmenting markets. Now
we are all SEC trained, that's the problem. For years we were trained by SEC, now there's NCCS. So our training wo demographic, sociographic cuts nahi hoti hai.
No, plus it makes things a lot easier also, right? So you have a certain ecosystem in a geography, you program in that language, but now, with sort of mobility of content and portability of content, it makes it it's a different ball game altogether. Yeah. So Chhattisgarh is a case in point, Tulu is a case in point. They're all sort of, sub languages within bigger languages, which you can cater to now. Maybe broadcast doesn't have enough of a critical mass, but maybe digital does, right? Or maybe some other way of reaching out to them.
In fact, Anand, before I come to you, on the digital point, just one. The fact is that with, in digital now, I was just tracking and I just did a piece of work on digital OTTs. And there is an OTT, there are like 3 OTTs in Assamese, there are OTTs in Odia, there's a Gujarati one, there's Marathi. You name it and name a language and there's an OTT for it in India. And they are going by dialects, for example, when I talk to a Vikatan, they say that, when we make a show, the Tamil accent for Chennai is different from the Tamil accent in Tirunelveli. So they are capturing nuances, which I don't know if broadcast television is looking at. Or when that level of diving deep into clusters of consumers and dialects, etc. happens, how does OTT sort of juxtapose, how does television juxtapose itself against this? Is OTT helping push the growth, or is OTT competition, or is it pushing you to do better content?
All the above.
All the above, yeah.
I think it's
All the above.
That is such an MCQ with multiple choices.
All of the above. Yeah.
And then tell me from the advertiser perspective.
In a
other
way,
language-
OTT has kind of given us a good example of any language that is right for that particular story or subject matter works. Like, we've seen Hebrew content, on OTT platforms because I mean, if you look at Fauda, a lot of
Yeah.
it is in English and
True.
Hebrew both. So, it kind of completely taken out this notion that, any language is, subject, what subject
Totally.
demands what language is
Totally.
going to be critical
Totally.
so,
I say that the OTTs made domestic crossovers possible. So are we looking, so in broadcast also, is that true that domestic crossovers are not just dubbed versions or, original versions, but domestic crossovers of shows, of a Tamil show, which could become a big hit in, I don't know, Maharashtra. It could be anything.
It's happening.
Yeah, if I could come in here, and I think
Yeah.
it's already
the cultural, if it doesn't feel like culturally alienating, the travel happens really well. And I think the big challenge is about the cohort. And if the cohort is not, why do multilingual consumption happen in OTT? You have an English literate population or who's watching the subtitles, reading the subtitles and watching and following along. It takes a level of effort to put into the content, right? So different consumer cohorts are at different evolution stage. And what we've seen, we've experimented a little with this, right? We took Ambedkar from the Hindi market to Kannada. It became a gangbuster hit. While culturally,
which one?
Ambedkar.
Okay.
In fact, it's rated like so much more than what it did on ANTV by the sheer platform effect. And I think there is definitely merit for crossover content. It's about knowing what culturally connects. And I think the thing which you've said, Vanita, on, and we chatted about it in the past, the SCR dialects and understanding that and saying, how do I find the right dialect and the right authenticity of the content that I'm putting there? And I think that actually makes me travel a lot.
Anand, I finally get to reach you because this topic is so interesting. We can go on for hours on this. But
I think Ramesh Pratisha did capture that actually. I think what an advertiser would be looking at, right? Ultimately, it's screen agnostic. It's ultimately video, right? That's what an advertiser would be looking at. You want to reach the consumer or the final cohort, as Pratisha was saying. So it makes it at times much simpler or convenient for advertiser as well, because then it's the need is not to have another channel, because that's not something you are looking for, but how do you reach the OTTs if they're on the back of the channels? And that, even on Hindi or like Hotstars and all, they are amplified, right? Means it's on the back of the channels and both together. Viacom has done a good bit actually with Woot and everything, how it goes through. So it's actually amplification over there. So for advertiser, I think that's what is more critical. Content, and where do you get that consumer who is getting delivered that content? And so as I said, it's more video which is important. Video planning, that gets important more than it's on a channel or something. So screen agnostic is, I think, with digital first approaches.
No, but given that, I mean, Ashwini of AFAX has also asked somewhere in the beginning that are there languages which marketers are warming up to more in the last 12 to 18 months? So from a traction perspective, what is it that is sort of, you can see right? If I forget the discussion from the broadcast, etc.
Traditional, in that sense, I can say, Hindi still definitely is the largest, but then there's Telugu, there's Kannada, Tamil, South Indian, that still rules, Bengali, and then Marathi is actually coming in. So where I think the channels are investing also, it's ultimately what's making commercial sense. So,
there's another question from Ashwini, and I think, I don't know, Debashish, will this be our last question?
We could extend for a couple of minutes, ma'am.
Okay. Has dubbed because I have like 17 questions. I don't think I've been through more than 5. Has dubbed advertising dropped significantly? Does it work as well as it used to a few years ago? Why?
No, it's I think
advertising, not
on advertising, it goes the same way as we were saying, right? The content where you're getting the content more easily done in local languages. dubbed advertising, I think you don't need that much now because you're creating content which is much easier. Large content is happening in that manner. So advertising actually is just part of the ecosystem. How the channels or the original content is moving, advertising actually is similarly on the same lines. It used to be dubbed advertising earlier when Doordarshan, when Ajay was mentioning at that point of time, or where you have one large theater and then you're trying to sort of replicate. With digital support and digital help, you're able to sort of create the content which is needed for that particular language or that particular place actually.
Okay. This is a very, okay, this question, Ajay, I'd like you to answer. All the content of Marathi should get a place on every platform. What steps can be taken about this? This is a gentleman called Atul Kudwe, who's a film director from the Marathi film industry. I don't know if should is a because then Tamil film directors and every language film directors will start saying it should be on it. Not like Doordarshan, which is mandatorily has to be carried on every platform. So, I mean, how would you react to something like this? Because in multiplexes, it's mandatory.
I mean, it's
Marathi films.
Yeah, but I think any kind of mandatory measure has never helped, is what I would say. No,
it doesn't increase
things have worked because, yeah, it has. I mean, look at Marathi channels. You know, the Marathi content is now Sony Marathi content is available on Sony Live. So there is a demand. There, the content will be consumed by people. You can't really force people to watch something. Is what I believe. You know, people have themselves, and there has been such a tremendous growth for regional content in last 4 to 5 years, something that we've been discussing over the last 45 minutes, is proof enough. Otherwise, with Hindi budgets and Marathi budgets or any regional channel budgets are, very small, but still there is a great amount of viewership. People are spending a lot more time on regional content. That itself is a proof enough for you to believe in demand and affinity of content and strength of content. So I don't think we need to make anything mandatory.
I think in this day and age, you can't really sort of, where people are making choices. Forget making content that should be carried. I would say focus on making outstanding content. It would be carried, or your content will go everywhere. So as long as the focus is on creating possibly sort of content that resonates and strikes a chord, trust me, it'll go everywhere. Without mandating it, it'll go voluntarily, it'll go viral. It'll just by word of mouth.
Absolutely, absolutely. My question, I'm going to use the moderator's privileges and ask my question last of all. Within each language, where we are seeing growth, and I'm not talking about the necessarily of the mature languages, but within each language, do you see significant differences? So, especially in the new lot, so whether it's Odia, Punjabi, Bhojpuri, even Kannada, I think now we're seeing a lot more investment happening in Kannada because there were these shooting restrictions which were there, which made things difficult. So do you see significant differences? And this is meant both for the advertiser and the broadcasters. Do you see significant differences in consumption patterns? And do you see significant differences in what advertisers choose to do? Or is it that, there's a certain category of consumers across Kannada, Bangla, Marathi who advertisers would like to approach? Okay, sorry. My question is, how are these markets different from each other, each of these languages? What are their differences and what are the similarities?
I think you need another panel discussion for this. It's not an easy one.
I know.
I'm going to get poetic about this, okay? I'm going to get poetic about this and say, Rano Bharat aise, aur har Bharat pe hum nikle. And every Bharat has something different too. And Vanita, I don't think there is a similarity. I mean, it is as similar as all countries in terms of emotions and tropes. But I think the nuance in storytelling, the pace and the character, how strong a woman stands out is very different from very adjacent states. Like how a Tamil woman would stand out is very different from how a Kannadiga woman would stand out versus how a Marathi woman would navigate. So I think it's as different as us as Indians. I think what connects all of them is the emotional roller coaster and our need for getting that fill outside of our lives.
So AFAX has a topic for the next one. Anand, you want to attack this from the advertiser perspective, or is it that you look at clusters and that's how you go?
Broadly, it's on that sense, actually. And I think Pratisha captured that quite beautifully, actually.
Yeah, she did.
Actually, so yeah.
Great. That's about it. Ajay, Ravish, you want to add something? Ajay, I can't hear you unless you're...
No.
Okay. Thank you so much. I've got lots of questions here, but I am not able to take them all. And some of them I think have been covered in our discussion. So thank you so much, AFAX, and thank you to all my panel. I enjoyed this discussion. I don't know what everybody else, I really enjoyed this. And I think, Ravish, you're right. We need to do a separate panel discussion on how these markets are different, in terms of maturity, taste, consumption patterns. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, we'll subtitle it also.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Being on the panel.
Right,
Thank you,
guys.
Anita.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.